Hello guys, this is Pedram Raufi and you're watching the markets review. During this program we are going to see what is going on the stock market, what kind of different news we have and what's going on with the cryptocurrency market as well. We are going to go through different Forex pairs and the other assets which we have on our platform, which we can trade by, and we are going to see what kind of technical price potential we have during the day for day traders. So what can they do during today's day? As you know, the most important news maybe is correctly for now related to the things that's going on with Apple, between Apple and Epic Games, which had started about 3 months, or I think more, even 7 months ago. But now, as we see, the Apple kind of won this play in judge. Actually, he won this apply, and there is something that Epic Game won as well here. But if we actually see, due to the stock prices of these two companies, both of them lost big amount of money, big amount of interest of investors during this judge suing. As we know, the judge actually was agree with the Apple, and it kind of gave the GameStop as well some privilege to save his own transaction payment by which he's going to receive money from his clients. So here is a thing that we have to pay attention on, because both of them kind of won, but actually Apple can further make more pressure on GameStop because of his previous deeds. And as we see here, Apple stock went up from yesterday's, from 3 days ago, actually started to go down and start to fall. And this was directly related to this judge suing which happened. And as we see now, it's kind of getting strength again. But the thing that happened with the GameStop shares, which was kind of not so sweet, as we see, they were actually falling, and they fell further. I mean, a real further and so further. So about GameStop here, we have the most big problem, which is related to GameStop, because they kind of won a little, but they could really lose more in the future due to some analysis. Further, what we have in the news background, as you heard last day, Walmart says crypto payments announcement is fake. In some way, the announcements which we received yesterday about that Walmart is going to accept Litecoin as a payment, as a way of payment, it kind of helped Litecoin prices to rise. As you see, this big impulse which happened yesterday in the prices of Litecoin, and of course this impulse helped Bitcoin prices to rise as well. As we see here on the chart of Bitcoin, the prices kind of did a really big impulse, which was speculative, which was not a true impulse, and then after that prices went off again. They returned back, and now they're kind of getting strengthened. They're kind of getting strengthened above the local supports, but this trend would be not for a really long time. About Bitcoin and about the Ethereum prices as well, the picture that we see here, it can really stop. It can get stopped in the near future. For example, about Ethereum, maximum to, till 3,400, and for Bitcoin as well, 47,000. It could be the next maximum that they would test, and then they would go off and just return and reverse again. So we have to pay attention on this fact as well. But the news which we had about yesterday, it really helped the Litecoin prices and Bitcoin prices to really kind of make some speculative move which they made, rising impulse which they made, and that really helped them. And now, as we see, the Walmart is kind of saying that this announcement was fake, so don't pay attention on it. Next, we have the Catherine Wood Ark Foundation, which is kind of buying a Canadian Bitcoin ETF, which is a real good news in a long term for BTC and for Bitcoin and for all of the cryptocurrencies, that we have to pay on this attention as well. But in the near future, I think that the correction, the downward correction, the downward movement of Bitcoin and Ethereum and the other cryptocurrencies could really continue. They have a new hurricane named Nicholas, and it brings a heavy rain to Texas, which is kind of near to the southern east part of the United States, which are located most of the oil producing apparatus and machines, and of course the reservoirs of the oil. They are kind of placed in this part of the United States as well. So we have a new hurricane, we have some new we had the Ida storm, and now we have the Nicholas hurricane, which just yesterday it just started. And as you know, most of these hurricanes have a really correct and have really direct impact on oil market, on the oil prices. And to check this fact, we are going to see the oil prices, what is going on with them. And as we see, the prices are rising further than $70 and even $71. So they're retesting $71. They're kind of rising, and this rise, and now they're located above the local support, which was retested previously. And what we see here is that they're kind of strengthening, and they could really continue this rise further in the near future. But for intraday, for midterm, we could really have some correctional movement or some movement in the corridor, which could continue during some days in the future. But 71.60 could really get retested, as we say somehow previously. And as we said previously, that this kind of hurricanes, this kind of climate situation, which is now is a seasonal thing, which is now in the United States, it really could help oil prices to rise further. And about natural gas, there is some predictions that it really can go higher. As we see here now about natural gas, what we can say is that it's kind of consolidating in a 1 hour chart, but in daily chart we have a real good impulse which is continuing, and this impulse really could continue till the next resistance of $6 or maybe even $6.60 or $6.40. So you have to be careful that this rise, this impulse in the midterm, in the long term, kind of long term, is mostly the midterm, due to this impulse. It really could continue till the next resistance of $5 or $5.40. I'm sorry, $6 or even $40. So $6.40. We should be correct. And it really could continue till this levels as well. Gold is kind of waiting for the inflation data from United States, which would release during this week. And this inflation data is the CPI actually releases, which some of the analysts they believe that these releases could show the inflation about 5%, which is more higher than previous predictions about the inflation about 4%. Now it's about 5%. Now they're predicting the inflation about 5%. So this fact is kind of have to make US dollar get weakened maybe, but it really could help gold prices to rise. What is going on with gold prices nowadays? Let's see. With gold prices nowadays, or for today, we have a correctional movement and we have the consolidation which is continuing, but mostly we can see that impulsive retest of local support. That's a really good sign of a reversal, or in the other way, that's a really good sign of the prices strengthening above the local supports, which are about 1780 or 1786. It's about this support. I mean, above the support of 1780 and 86, that's a support which could really get retested in the future, and it's already have retested several times and impulsively, and that's a real good fact that shows us that price is really getting strengthened above these levels. So we don't have any pushing or any pushing to the local supports, but in some way we have the falling of maximums, falling of local maximums, which shows that in the due to the midterm or long term, gold could really retest the local minimums as within one impulse, or very rapidly or very fastly, and then it could continue the uprising movement. So here the situation is kind of really maybe getting ready for a rise, for a reversal upward, but we have to be careful and we have to wait for the retest of local minimums, for local supports, which is 1786, 80 or 86, 84. Just we have to wait for the retest of this range, and then if this retest would be impulsive, next we could have the rise of the prices of gold. And of course, inflation won't let the high inflation won't let dollar prices rise as well. So we have to just look through the dollar prices and United States 10 years yields, which are kind of getting ready to maybe make some downward impulse. But let's look directly to the United States dollar index, which is strengthening, but situation here could change in the near future. We have to wait for the retest of 92.80, then prices maybe will continue the downward movement. If the retest of 92.80 happens within one impulse, it would be a really good sign that prices could really reverse. So here about high inflation during this week, maybe dollar could continue to rise till these releases come out. But after that, it could really make some downward movement as well. So here we have to just wait for the retest of 92.80. It could really happen 92.80, 92.60. That's a corrective retest. It's a correctional retest of these parts of this local maximum, of this local resistance, and after that we have to wait for the next movement. Could it reverse? Would it reverse? We have to just sit and watch. And of course the uranium prices, which are rising very fast, and the situation has kind of really started after the Taliban uh, came actually became the government of the United States, after the United States Army went out from Afghanistan, and the Taliban came the main power there. As you know, Afghanistan is the most biggest, I think, one of the biggest producer of the uranium, and this rise of prices could really be related to this thing. Actually, previously, when I saw the news and I heard about Afghanistan and these movements and about the Taliban taking power there, I was thinking about the uranium prices. Why didn't buy them? I don't know. Here, uranium is really rising. Yet in the news, in the analysis, they think that maybe half of this rise could really continue in the uranium prices, as we see here. The uranium price is about 42, and they could really rise till 60, maybe, or 80 in the near future. So we have to pay attention on these facts as well. What is going on with the Asian market? We're gonna watch maybe a little bit later, but Japanese market could change in the near future. The Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga left the government, and the person who's coming next, who's coming to actually take this post, take this responsibility of a prime minister. He's going to be someone else, which could really even approve more stimulus, more economic stimulus for the country, which could make Japanese yen to fall further. I mean, if we are relating it to the United States dollar JPY, it means that the prices of this pair could rise in the near future because of the next person, next prime minister who could come to Japan, and it could really help the banks to make a lot of money because of the really cheap, how we say, really cheap loans that they can give to people and they can give to business. So here we have to pay attention on this fact, and this fact that actually could really help the Japanese stock market to rise further. As we see here, Nikkei is kind of continued the rising daily chart, Nikkei 225 as well. It's actually near to the maximums, but situation here is very interesting. It could really continue to rise. The Japanese market is really kind of a bomb nowadays, and it's continued to rise. And topics, it's kind of rising as well, and it's really continue because they're kind of really powerful now because of the good company releases and the stimulus which could really continue in the Japan. So all of these factors could really help the Japanese stock market to rise further, and of course it would make United States dollar to Japanese yen to continue the rise, because when the stock market is rising, the the main currency of the country would fall. So here we have a really good situation, even if you look through the United States dollar to Japanese yen, that it could really continue. What kind of different pairs we didn't actually get through, we didn't check. Here's S&P 500 and Dow Jones, which are continuing the downward movement, both of them. And the last news is actually kind of related to them, which is telling that somehow the Cromer says that markets could really struggle more during this month, and the other analysts told about this factor as well, that kind of markets are showing that they could really struggle more during this month, so they could really continue the downward movement, and it's better to have some cash in the portfolios so we can hedge the risk of your portfolios if you're investing. And of course, during your trading, you have to hedge as well by the buying of dollar. As we see, dollar is really powerful now, and it could really retest in the near future the local resistance, which we have. It could really retest them. So be careful of this. And the next downward movements of S&P 500 could really continue as well, but we have to really wait for some retest of local maximums. I don't think that they really can go higher. We have to wait for the next session, the American session, to start. Euro could kind of already reverse, and do we have any level? 1.80, 21.80, 30, and pound as well is kind of reversing already. So be careful that these two guys, because of this impulse which we have for pound, and because of this impulse which we have for euro dollar, which is really big impulse, really heavy impulse. After this kind of impulses, we have the reversal movements which could continue, and which could really stop the upward movement due to this situation. And for Australian dollar as well, we kind of have a real powerful impulse, but it was from the local minimum. Pay attention, the Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar, actually the Australian dollar more because it's just broke through the local support, and now it's just retesting the local resistance. So I don't really believe in the next rise of Australian dollar, and I cannot believe in the next rise of New Zealand dollar maximum. It could be a really speculative, really fast retest of 0.7120 or 0.7130. It's the maximum actually. So pay attention on this fact. And next, actually, we saw the oil prices, and of course the Bitcoin and Ethereum prices we have saw, and we actually checked as well. Don't forget to subscribe on our channel, and don't forget to ring the bell so you would be able to know when the news is and when the new programs will come out. And don't forget that on our site we can find the different kind of programs that on our channel as well. We can find the different kind of program which would be really useful for you. So don't forget to subscribe on our channel and ring the bell so you will be always informed when exactly our programs are gonna start. Thank you for watching this video. Till next time, guys, have a good trading. Bye bye.